let's have a chat. I can't even remember the last time I uploaded a video of me, Ty, in my garage as part of the series known as Ty's Garage. It's been at least 3 years. Um, the the last I recall, I was working on my Impreza. We were gutting it so that the cage could go in it. So that would be um, spring of 2017 when I was doing it, probably summer of 2017 when I uploaded the video. Um, and I know a handful of folks came over from Reddit and subscribed specifically to see the progress of the car as it was being built. And a handful of folks were asking really good questions and kind of engaging, and that was really encouraging. And so some of you might be wondering whatever happened. And so if you subscribe to the channel, surely you've seen that we've been racing. The car was, in some essence, finished, although most anybody that ever works or builds a project car will tell you it's never really finished. And I can attest to that. The car is not finished as I see fit. But obviously it's been running. We just had our 8th stage rally this past weekend. Do another video on that altogether. So yeah, what happened? It got to the point to where I had a fork in the road that I had to make a pretty significant but easy decision to make. And that decision was simply, do I take the time and do the appropriate work necessary to basically make a YouTube series out of this and do it proper, or do I get the car finished in time to race at Show Me Rally 2017, which was the goal. That was the deadline we were working towards. And in the earlier videos, it seemed a very reasonable deadline to meet, given how far in advance we were working on the car. We got the car back here about 3 weeks before the rally. It had a cage, but it had no seats. It had no engine. The fuel tank was out of it. It had a rear end that needed to be bolted back up, and rear discs to the entire rear knuckles and disc brake mods to go on it, because it was originally a drum brake car. We had to mount our seats and harnesses and safety gear, and there were so many things that the car needed in that time that there was no way it was going to happen with me filming everything as meticulously as I was starting to, and still get it done by the rally. I was working full time. Frankly, the only reason we were able to get the car done in time is partially due to my co-driver not having a job at that point, and he was able to dedicate a lot more time to the car than I could reasonably expect of the co-driver that is working full time as any adult would be. And so that was instrumental in making the car happen on time. And so, there's probably about 4 or 5 episodes of content that I filmed that I never bothered editing into a video, because I knew by the time I knew that it would culminate in nothing. I knew that I wasn't going to have time to show the rally car being built, because I by that point it had already happened in real time. I knew that there was nothing. There was no finale video of the car being assembled, and so I kind of just backburnered it, and a bunch of other stuff came up, and so the idea of the show just kind of went away. And so I had an entire episode list in a Google Doc of like 40 episodes of individual tasks that needed to happen. That did happen over the course of getting that car ready to go. But it was a matter of, I had to make a choice between working on a YouTube series or working on a rally car. And to be fair, I was working on the rally car first. And so it was just, it's a bummer that I couldn't share the entire build, the entire journey. But that's irrelevant because now we're here. Uh, we're back in the garage. And so the idea, I guess, behind this video is um, I guess I'm reviving the show series, I guess. Um, it used to be such that like I had like episode numbers and had a very planned out arrangement of how I wanted the series to go. And that would be great if I was a full-time YouTuber, but I'm not. Uh, my monetization doesn't even exist anymore. I've been banned from monetization for life, basically. And so I don't have any plans to make YouTube into any kind of living, anything that can justify the time it takes to do it the way I want to do it. So it's kind of going to become a matter of I'll do what I can when I get around to it. It's not going to be a journal of my life, so to speak. It's not going to be a vlog, I guess. If I'm doing something to one of my cars, I decide, it might be worth filming this. I take a little bit extra time to take some shots and narrate it and edit it and what have you, then I'll do it. But it's October. I want to get the rally car torn apart this winter and put back together before the next rally, whenever that will be, because of course we're in the middle of the pandemic. And it'd be cool to show what we did as I take it apart. I can't show you the process we went through to engineer or design or even just come up with how we're going to mount seats, but I can at least show you where the seats are mounted. For example, I can show you our data logger. There's a bunch of cool stuff in that car we've done that I can at least go over and say, here's how we did it, here's the changes we're making, and move on from there. Also, the first episode I talked about restoring the Cavalier, and that's still that's another work in progress, is the Cavalier. And that's my daily right now, is my Cavalier. And so I want to, it's roadworthy. There's some stuff on it that I want to get done. I don't know how hard in the paint I'm going to go with restoring it at this point. But there's, like I said, there's stuff, there's content there, I guess you could say, that I guess I could get something out of it. No one's out there, I can't imagine there's many people that are going to rely on, this video series for real informational 1990 Cavalier specific purposes. No one is that bewildered by an old J body that they're going to resort to my videos. There's way better resources out there. And so, that being said, there's the rally car, there's my Cavalier, my Mustang I'd like to drive again one day. But speaking of the first episode, if you'll remember, I thought it would be a funny idea to clean the garage to Yakkety Sax, because Yakkety Sax is still very funny to me. And as you could probably tell, it did not stay clean at all. In fact, if we're being entirely honest, this is the messiest this garage has been since I've owned this place. It's nuts to me that not even 2 years ago, I had an entire car in here. I think I had two. I can't remember when the Cavalier got pushed out of the garage. But I know I had the rally car in here early 2019. And now the notion of even fitting a car in here is laughable. I don't know exactly what happened. I just know that it's a problem. And so that brings me to my next point. Even though, you'd think that based on how my content has gone before, it's going to be stuff working on cars, technically speaking, the show is called Ty's Garage. And so I don't think it's inappropriate to sometimes work on the garage. I know that seems silly, but this garage itself needs a lot of work. I'm not just talking about cleaning it up. You've seen me do that. I'm not showing it again. It's boring. It's dumb. But the garage needs work. And so let's maybe go over some of the things the garage needs and stuff that I plan on doing as part of the series, even though it's not working on a car. So when I bought this place, the garage is probably what sold me on the house. When I was a kid, um, my parents had a single car garage that was quickly turned into a bedroom for my brother and I when my sister was being born. And so the very notion of even having a garage was mostly foreign to me growing up. Cars stayed outside in the driveway, and almost anybody I knew that had a garage, there was never a car in it. You know, garages were meant for junk. That's how it felt. That was the, even though it's got a car-sized door and a car-sized pad, you put garbage in your garage. Which, given some of my cars, you could say that I do put garbage in my garage in the form of an automobile. But when I got this place, you know, I saw two-car garage, workbenches, cabinets. There's a vacuum mounted on the wall that goes all over the place, and there's air hoses running throughout the garage. I was so enamored with the way this place was, and it was a little bit of, I don't know, I was a little naive, I guess, because now I'm like, I can freaking build workbenches. Like, I don't, like, the workbench over there is 4 feet deep. I don't need a 4-foot deep workbench. You can't park a car over there in through the garage door because the workbench is so, you know, it juts out from the wall so much. And so, and the cabinets, they're useful, I guess, but I don't know what to reasonably put in them that makes sense. And so, in some ways, at first it felt like a really good idea, and I don't regret it, but I need to not be married to how this garage was when I got it. One of the first things we had to do was, I'm not sure, you can't really tell much, and I'll get some B-roll or whatever. The ceiling, if you even want to call it that, was, it was like styrofoam, right? And it wasn't even like the pink insulation styrofoam you get at the home center these days. It was like the same kind of styrofoam that they make like cheap gas station beer coolers out of, right? Really like thick cell, it was like an inch thick white styrofoam, right? And the city inspector was like, you can't have exposed styrofoam because of course when it burns, it's not very good for you. And so you can either cover it up with drywall or you can take it down before we'll give you an occupancy permit for the building. And I was in a wicked rush to get moved in here, despite the fact that I lived 6 houses down. And so I was just like really eager to get people moved in so I could, you know, just start life here. And so my roommate and I just went through with a broom handle. Each of us had like a broom handle or a pole, and we just started bashing all of the styrofoam out because it was super easy just to knock down. Didn't have a ladder or anything. We just, you know, just went around and knocked it all out. And all that's left is this lattice of like 1x lumber that is like roughly connected to the rafters somehow, or the top plate. I really don't know how this happened, because it honestly looks like the previous occupant of this house decided they were going to it's like they had a hookup on sheet styrofoam, and whenever they got like an off piece or cut off piece, they like measured it out and said, well, it's gonna go here, and they just, you know, slapped a 1x across the ceiling and put it there until it was covered. And so, frankly, all this needs to come down. I know that sounds crazy, but like, I want to take this whole ceiling down. There's ample storage up there, sure, and there's a lot of, we found so much garbage up there. And I'm talking like stuff you take to the street. We found a lawnmower engine, an old Briggs, a snow shovel, a rake, a push broom. There's a whole closed there's a solid core door up there. There's a 4x8 sheet of ply up here, strapped across two 2x6s that I guess the guy was storing spare lumber with. I don't know how he could ever get to any of it because there was like a hole, a doorway or whatever, like this big over on the opposite end of the garage. None of that stuff was ever coming back down. And so it's like whoever lived here just closed all that off and said and then we're done with it. And so the reason I need to get rid of all this is the roof is sagging bad. I'm not like in danger right now sitting in it, but the roof is sagging in the middle because the walls are pushing out from one another in the middle, and both of those effects are visible outside. The roof sagging is much more visible than the walls pushing out, and so the reason they're pushing out is there's nothing to really prevent them from doing so. You know, I think there's like, he might have 3 total rafter ties, here, and there. And they're like, I think they're 2x4s, and that's not gonna stop a roof from caving out. Across a 24-foot span, got these 6 feet apart on center, and so what I want to do is I want to fix the roof. Of course, it's crazy, the train of thought. I need to fix the roof so I can insulate the roof so that I can heat the garage and cool the garage. All this work just to get, you know, the most out of my investment on a heater and a cooler and the energy to operate both of them. I could just do it the way I want right now and just, you know, let all the hot air out and put all the heat back in when I'm cooling in the summer. But like, you know, I could spend, even if it's a wash, the right way to do it is to fix this roof now, so that way I can get as many years out of this garage as I can. And so the plan is across every single one of these rafters to put a rafter tie in, which is going to give you a nice uniform, almost a ceiling. I'm not going to put any drywall on it or anything, but it's going to look better. It's going to look professional. It's going to look proper, right? And so after that, I want to go through and just update all the lighting. Half these fixtures don't work. They're all fluorescent. It's 2020. Everything's LED now. I want to make this place look nice. Of course, before I do all of this, the entire garage needs to be cleaned out and gutted. And so it's been a long process. I've slowly been just consolidating it and liquidating it and just getting rid of garbage in here that I don't need anymore. And so it's slowly coming together. Of course, now we're getting into the cold months, and so I wanted to have it done before winter so that I could put the heater back in and I could, you know, heat the place up and put a car in here and work on it. But, you know, life gets in the way. And so, yeah, the end goal for the garage is to have it be set up to do auto repair on one side and woodworking on the other, with the capacity to flood over one side or the other as needed. You know, if I'm working on the race car and parking the car like normal doesn't really, you know, work for me given the job I'm doing, I want to be able to park it at an angle and kind of, you know, maybe even park it perpendicular to get the most space to work around the car and just not work on woodworking projects while that's going on. Or vice versa, if I'm building some kind of, you know, large piece, you know, slide the rally car outside and get more room out of the workshop coming this way. And so basically building this thing to be a modular setup to facilitate both of those hobbies. I've got a lot of hobbies, but those are the two hobbies that require the most amount of just raw space. And so, yeah, it's just a long process. And so, yeah, I've rambled more about the garage than I have about the show at this point. And so, anytime I have a chance to film something, I'm just gonna, you know, grab a camera and a tripod and just film it. I'm not doing this for money, if that makes sense. At this point, I really hope I'm not getting ads played before my videos because that drives me nuts. because again, I'm banned from monetization for life. I've sent countless emails. They're not giving me no monetization back, and that's fine. I don't know that I would want to do this for a career anyway. I might set up a Patreon at some point. I don't know what would go there. If you follow my channel, you know that the garage isn't the only thing that's going on. I don't know how many videos I have. Probably a couple hundred, maybe. Filming concerts, doing some video game uploads, the short films from Station Cup usually end up on my channel. Some unboxing videos of things that I just really like. There's a lot of content on my channel, and that's why I feel weird about doing something like a Patreon, because if you're here for, if you're here for the garage show, then you're still getting a bunch of other noise in my channel that I'm spending my time on, and so it's something I just don't feel 100% on with. But also, sometimes I just want to talk about the things going on with the car or the team, some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that, I feel like some of the bigger teams do videos on. Because if you watch our videos, our race videos, they don't tell the whole story. They're usually pretty slow, and they usually have a bunch of garbage on the screen that's usually just there for me, like our speedometer and our tach and my pedal cam. I usually just use those as learning tools and publish them that way in case anybody wants to criticize me for lifting too much. But yeah, my channel is more than just the garage, because I'm more than just the garage. But yeah, I think I've probably said enough about what the series is gonna do from here on out. I'm toying around with the idea of calling it Ty's Garage Revival or just TGR. I'm ditching episode numbers. They're going to be in a playlist to watch if you want to watch, with some kind of continuity. But yeah, I've noticed a lot of the YouTubers I've been watching, they don't do episode numbers, even though you can kind of see some continuous aspect to what they do. And so, yeah, I think that's about it for this video. I know I'm sure that even after I cut it down, it's still going to be stupid long. So thanks for watching, for sure. More content is on the way. So if you're new here, if you haven't seen any of my old content, you don't know anything about who I am or what I do, that's totally cool. I'll probably put some links up in a video or an ID card or in the description. I'm used to just uploading videos and sending it. I don't know. I'll try to see what I can do to improve the video watching experience. But subscribe if you haven't. More content is on the way. I'm probably going to film another video right now on what happened at the Show Me rally, even though it's not going to come out at the same time because I'm going to make you guys wait for it. So if you want to, for example, if you want to know what happened to us at the Show Me rally in detail, subscribe. The video following this one will probably be about that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.